guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Lipsy, and we're back for another day, the 31 days of Spooktober. So I just want to say a huge thank you because I've just hit 150 subscribers. Now I know it sounds stupid because I see people celebrate 100,000 subscribers, a million subscribers, but for me this means that in a year I've done well, I've stuck at something and I've really enjoyed doing it. So yeah, just thank you so much guys. 150 of you want to watch me, like that's amazing to me and I'm so grateful. So today, the place that we're going to be looking at is Plas Teg. It's said to be one of the most haunted houses in Wales, but it seems that everyone says that. So we're gonna go, we're gonna look at it guys, we're gonna dive in, sit back, relax and let's get stuck in. So this is a Jacobean house. It was built in 1610 by a Welsh politician, Sir John Trevor. So he lived there with his family, his wife, his kids. So it actually served as a home for the family until Lady Margaret Trevor passed away, and then the outbreak of the English Civil War. In this time the family went and they just tenanted the house out. They didn't want to be in the house where their mother used to live or their wife used to live, so they decided to tenant it out and they would have a little bit of separation from the place for a while. You can understand that. Then they decided to come back and reside in the home until 1930. Now this was then when it was sold to the War Office and used as soldier accommodation during the Second World War. It was during this time that Plas Teg slipped into a kind of period of decay up until the 1950s, and then it was put up for demolition. But it was stopped by a public outcry who didn't want it to be demolished. So instead a member of the Trevor family came forward and he started to refurbish the house. Now he did get some money from the Historic Building Council to restore some of the property. However, he couldn't fully do it himself. The house was actually leased out until 1977 and then Mr. and Mrs. Llywelyn bought it. Now they only actually used the ground floor of the house. So as you can imagine, the rest of it became more of like a ruin than anything else. It started to decay even more. But fortunes finally picked up for Plas Teg. This is when Cornelia Bailey, who is the current owner, bought it. She only actually bought it for £75,000 and that was in 1986. With help from the Historic Environment Division of the Welsh Government, they managed to put the house through a £400,000 renovation. Now this was £199,000 off of the council and it was £211,000 of her own pocket. Then 10 months later she went ahead and she opened the house to the public and it still remains open to the public to this day. It kind of gone too well because in 2011 it was featured on Channel 4's Country House Rescue. So like I said, this is reportedly one of the most haunted buildings in Wales, but we've heard this a million times now and I think it's just something that people pick up on if one person says this is the most haunted place I've ever been to. It said there's no fewer than 15 ghosts. It was used as a court where people were hanged after being trialed. It was also used as a sanatorium. Now this is really interesting because there's no evidence to support this, but the people who own it now are pretty sure that it was. Well, why isn't there evidence then? I'm not too sure about that. That confuses me a little bit. But as you can imagine, with its varied past, it has quite a lot of hauntings. It has a lot of paranormal phenomena. One story is about Sir John Trevor's daughter, Dorothy Trevor. So the story goes that she fell in love with a local farmer's son, Iorwerth. So her father knew that she was in love with him but wasn't too keen on her seeing him, so she wasn't allowed basically. Have we heard this story before guys? If you don't recognise it, there's another one very similar. Click that link above me. So she was determined to follow her heart and she decided that one night she would run away with Iorwerth and she would just wait for his call, run out and they would run. So something was really important to her, evidently, was her jewellery. So she went and she took the jewellery and put it in the local well. So just in her garden there was a well. Then she knew when it was time to run away she wouldn't have to gather all of her so important jewellery and she would be able to just pick it up and run. So when it was time and Iorwerth gave the signal, she went to the well, went to get her jewellery, slipped, or was pushed, and fell in and died. Now she is one of the most common ghosts seen around Plas Teg. Something interesting about her is that she's always seen on the A541. Now that's the road that goes past Plas Teg. It's said that she's running, and people seem to think that she's running to her Iorwerth, to her partner. They also say that she's wearing white, but come on, we're in Wales, she's a woman. She's got to be a ghost wearing white, because what else would ghosts wear if they were in Wales and women? Her body was only found 2 months later, so it took 2 months to find the body. And the jewels were never found, so none of the jewellery she took with her that she hid down in the well were ever found. And then Iorwerth was so scared that people were going to accuse him of murdering his girlfriend that he hanged himself. He was so devastated and depressed, and he just thought it's just not worth it, because he knew that he was going to be the culprit. He knew that people were going to say that it was his fault. Well, he just killed himself. So it says that he haunts the grounds looking for his girlfriend Dorothy, and they've never found each other. Now, an occasion where she was spotted was in the early 1900s. It said that when the gardeners were at the gardening, obviously, and he felt hands come from the well behind him and started to pull him aggressively into the well. And it said that he fought them off, right? And he wasn't just like pulling away, he had to struggle to pull away from these hands. And when he turned back around, he expected to see someone in the well, and there was just nobody there. There was nobody in the garden, there was nobody else, it was just him and something to try to pull him into that well. Now, there's also said to be a constant male wailing. Now, this is said to be Trevor V. It's said that he died in the castle in the 18th century. Now, the story goes that he learned of his wife's affair, and when he did that, he decided that he just wanted to kill her. He didn't want to look past her, he didn't want to forgive her and get on with her. He just wanted to kill her and get rid of her. So once he killed her, he just felt guilty. He just felt so guilty that he said that he couldn't continue with his life. And one night he got really drunk. He got into his carriage, obviously they didn't have cars, got into his carriage and drove around the whole estate as fast as he possibly could. Then he crashed. So he crashed into a big tree, and the effects were so damaging that it actually made him disabled, and he stayed in a bed for the rest of his life, dying a slow, miserable, painful death. Just don't kill your wife. There was also a lady called Elizabeth Trevor Roper. Now, she was 16 years old, and she died there in 1815. So what basically happened was 2 guys had fallen for her. They were both totally head over heels in love with her, and she decided that she liked one of them, obviously. She decided on the one she wanted, and she told the other one, I'm sorry, I don't want to go ahead with this relationship. However, this other guy got very jealous, and he went and he killed the other guy that she had chosen. So after he killed him, she had actually seen this happen, and she ran from him because she thought, well, he's gonna kill me too. And she ran until she reached her house, and she reached the well. Now, we don't know what happened, but apparently there was a struggle which suggests that he was pulling her or pushing her, and she fell to her death in the well. This couple are actually seen in the house to this day, but wait until you hear what they're seen as. He has a bullet in his shoulder. It's dripping with blood, and it's always open wounded. She is seen wearing white and clutching some jewels. She walked away with all of these jewels. She got to the bottom and she was like, they're mine now. She's got the jewels. That's what they were with her. There are also people who claim they've been touched, prodded, poked, pushed even by unseen entities. This is interesting. So they say that you have emotion changes in the whole room. So you feel intense mood swings. Not Jamina, I'd be absolutely mental. So people become overwhelmed with emotion, and that can be sadness, anger, happiness, anything. There are sounds of giggling, sobbing, whispering, talking, knocking, footsteps, just all general sounds that you hear but not expect to hear when nobody's around. And there's also this photo, guys. This is taken by a guy, we're going to refer to him as Mr. Rowlands. This is on the Wales Online. He also caught a video of a dog barking, so I'm going to link that down below. I don't have the rights to share it on this video, but if you go down, I'll link it down there and you can make a judgment for yourself. But this photo is actually the most clear photo I've seen during this whole of Spooktober. I completely agree that this is a ghost. This is definitely 100% a ghost. Let me know what you see in this now, guys. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so I can alert you every single time I upload to my channel. And as always, guys, never let anyone dull your sparkle.
You know how we do. It's not for me to say you love.
This is a Jacobean house. Jacobean. Do you know, I don't actually know how to say Jacobean. Jacobean? I don't know. People might be watching this like, how do you not know how to say that? I don't, okay? It's from the Jacobean area. Time. It's from the Jacobean time.